In this video, I'm going to show you guys how to replace your center serving. So I've built thousands of bowstrings by now, and for anybody wanting to get in the archery technical side of things and learn how to work on their own equipment, this is a great place to start. It's extremely convenient to be able to replace your own center serving, and I have a couple beginner tips I really think you're going to like. If you're new to the channel, I just started making these YouTube videos about a month ago, and my goal for 2026 is to put out a handful of educational and entertainment videos focused around archery and bow hunting. So if you like this kind of content, please subscribe. If there's enough interest, I'll continue making these videos into 2027. So the first thing you're going to want to do is find a place to secure your bow. You can use a bow press as long as you don't take tension off of the string. I walked into a bow shop one time and seen a guy replacing the center serving, and he had the tension off of the string. This is a horrible way to do this. You want that string to be as tight as you possibly can. So if you're going to use a press, just make sure you leave plenty of tension on the string. It'd be better to do this in a vise. So the first thing you want to do is cut off your D-loop and soft knots. And then you want to carefully take a blade, and you pretty much want it level. And what you're trying to do is cut into the first couple wraps without nicking the string. Once it starts to unravel on its own, then you can take and undo each wrap until all of this is completely off. Just from these markings, you can see where the serving stopped and where it finished. But just for good measure, you can go ahead and put a little mark where it starts and a little mark where it stops. It should be about 4 inches. Really important part about reserving your center serving is keeping in mind that you see the exposed fibers here. These have a certain amount of twist in them. So if your center serving's here, you're going to have a certain amount of twist below, and you're going to have a certain amount of twist above. And we want to keep that same twist ratio the way it is now. An easy way to do this is with what I call the flag method. And you can take pieces of tape, little pieces of tape, and make sure it's straight up. Do that on the top and the bottom. This way, if we're applying too much twist in the string, it's going to kind of show us. So it's going to be best to serve it and keep these flags as vertical as you can. All right, so the other thing to keep in mind is there's different shapes and sizes of these serving jigs. This larger one I like to use when I'm string building, but the smaller one is a lot better for replacing your center serving because it goes through these gaps a lot easier with its smaller size. If you guys are going to replace center servings a lot for yourself or for others, then I highly recommend you get these 3 sizes of the power grip. Power grip's by far my favorite center serving material to use. It's very consistent, it's very strong. The .018, you'll probably use that one the most. The .021 is good for nocks that usually fit pretty loosely, so you can snug those up. The .016, not as often as well. That's good for the IP4 nocks or even the halo lighted nocks. These spools are probably somewhere between 20 and 30 bucks a piece, and they go a long ways. If you're only replacing center serving with them, probably last you a lifetime. You want to make sure the tension on the jig is tight but not too tight. Put a little bit of muscle into it and it'll spin smoothly. The direction that the string's twisted is going to determine the direction that we serve. In most cases, manufacturers add their twist clockwise. Every once in a while, you'll see one that's counterclockwise. One way to check this is to put the bow in a press, take one of the end loops off, and see if you twist it clockwise, if it's adding twist or removing twist. If it's adding twist, then you know you have a clockwise twisted string, which is what this is. So it's important to make sure we're going to start left to right, and we're going to make sure the jig is coming overhand towards us. If you get this wrong and serve in the wrong direction, it's going to cause all kinds of problems. Your peep's probably going to be all over the place, and you're going to have to remove it and do it in the opposite direction. All right, let's make sure our flags are nice and vertical. Now these might have a little bit of rotation to them. By the time it's all said and done, it's fine. But what you don't want to see is a lot of rotation in it. So we want these to be as vertical as they possibly can be by the time we're finished with our center serving. That way it shows us our serving jig wasn't set too tightly. As you're serving under tension of the jig, they might start to rotate a little bit, but it's important that they settle back towards the upright position as much as possible. So we're going to take about 8 to 10 inches of serving and go right over the top of it. We're going to call that the tag end. And we're going to take the tag end and we're going to wrap it twice and we're going to bring it across. And then we're going to take the serving jig and come over across the tag end. Let's do that a couple times. And then I like to take my thumb at the last wrap there and make sure I cinch it down. Now I can lift up on the string. And one thing I'm doing, I'm holding the tag and I'm holding the string. I'm holding this string tightly with my right hand while I wrap with my left, just to keep the string in place, to keep these flags as vertical as I can. And I like to go about a 1/2 inch to 1 inch. Right in there, kind of pull tight. And then we're going to take the tag in and bring it to the left. And now we can hold this part of the string while I serve. And what we're going to do is keep going with it until we get all the way to our 4-inch mark. Remember what I said about the flags as you're serving, and then as soon as you stop, they want to go back vertical again. All right, right before our dot, we want to stop and we want to bring out about 1 foot of serving. And we're going to hold tension on this sides tag end right here. And now we're going to do what's called back serving. We're going to make a loop. And then we're going to do 8 to 10 wraps. And then we're going to lay it back under the loop and we're going to take the loop and unwrap it, keeping tension on the serving the whole time. Then holding it with our finger, we're going to go ahead and take this tag in all the way down. Take a pair of pliers, get it snug. Cut it the length of a pencil lead. Go ahead and burn these cut tag ends down. All right, and as we can see, our flags are still pretty vertical there. That went smoothly. Then what we're going to do is check some knock fits. So here's an AE IP5 knock, a very common one. It snaps on and it moves up and down the string. That's exactly what you want. And just as an example, this is a halo, so I know this is going to be too tight. It's hard to snap on. There's too much resistance in trying to move it up and down. It's kind of hard to take off. So if I was using a halo, I would have served this with the .016 power grip. I hope this video was helpful. If you guys are interested in buying your own center serving for replacements, check out bowstringshop.com. Thank you guys for watching.